Hi, in this video, I'll be showcasing a brief demonstration of HR Cloud's Onboard solution. I'm logged in as an administrator now, and on my dashboard, I can see all of the apps that are enabled in my HR Cloud account. Today, we'll be taking a look at Onboard and People. Onboard has three main functions. The first one is the automation of the onboarding process. The second one is self-service provided by self-service portals. The third one is a complete overview of the onboarding process of each new hire. People is the main data storage where all the data that you collected by onboarding a new hire will be routed and stored. So let's begin with the automation part. The automation is done by a system of smart checklists. Here you can create as many checklists as necessary depending on how many different workflows you need to automate. When setting up a checklist, there are two conditions that allow for the automation to happen. The first one is the schedule of a checklist. The second will tell the system when to assign the tasks. You can assign tasks when somebody's hired, when someone is pre-hired, when somebody is rehired. You can assign tasks when an onboarding change happens, a change in manager, position, department, location, and so on. And you can also schedule a checklist to assign tasks post-onboarding by scheduling it on a fixed date of your choice. The assignment rules are the second condition for automation. They allow you to target a group of employees who will receive the tasks based on the schedule of a checklist. If you have a new hire package, a set of tasks that everybody needs to do, you can create a checklist that will be assigned to all employees when they're hired. That can be general tasks like complete your W-4, complete your direct deposit, download the employee handbook, or your I-9, etc. If you need to assign tasks to a certain group of employees, you can use custom assignment rules and then target employees who are hired in one or multiple departments, in a division or multiple divisions, based on their employment type, on their location, and so on. Once you've set up your schedule and your assignment rules, you can then define which tasks will be assigned by this checklist. We have different task types to choose from, and I'll go through them individually. So, the form task allows you to select a form that's been digitized in your HR Cloud account, then set up a signing order for that form. It can be just one person who needs to complete it, like the employee, but if the form needs to be countersigned, you can add 2 or 3 contributors and also set up the order in which they are completing it. The assignee in each of the steps can be the employee, it can be the manager, it can be somebody else based on their security, like the administrators, or you can also target a specific user. If you have a specific individual, like in this case, Adam, who always needs to do step 2 for this form. Then we have a document request task, which will require the assignee to upload the document in order to complete it, and you can use this to collect any type of certificate, license, I-9, verification documents, or identification documents that new hires might need to provide. We also have a video task, which allows us to embed videos from YouTube or Vimeo and distribute video materials that way, so you can distribute welcoming orientation or training video material to your employees. And finally, we have a plain task, which has 2 purposes. So the first one is simple task tracking, if you have a set of activities that need to be done, but they're done outside HR Cloud software. For example, if IT needs to set up the new hire equipment, or if the new hire needs to meet the manager on the first day, you can assign a plain task to the appropriate person and track when that was complete. The second purpose of the task is document distribution. So in the attachment of a plain task, you can attach PDF, Word, Excel, spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, and documents in other formats, as well as distribute things like employee handbooks, PTO policy information, training of different kinds, and any other type of document that you usually either print out or that you email to the new hire. All of these tasks have some attributes that they share, so I'll be using the plain task to go through them. So each task has a different name that can be added for differentiating between the tasks. There's a due date that's defined on all of the tasks. You can then schedule automatic notifications before the due date or after the due date, and they act as a reminder to assignees that they have to complete the task. A task can be made optional, so if you have part of your onboarding that's not mandatory for the employees to complete, you can give them the option to skip it. There's a description box on all of the tasks for where you can add additional instructions on what needs to be done, And there's also a review process that can be enabled with one or multiple reviewers. You can select the reviewers based on the security role, for example, the manager or the administrators, and you can also select a specific employee to be the reviewer in a step. That way, if you need to review a form or an uploaded document before the task is actually completed, you can do so. Now I'll show you how a checklist looks like once it's been created. So we have this new hire checklist as an example. You'll have the summary of your schedule and your assignment rules, so that you know which employees will receive the tasks and when. This can be added at any point. If changes need to be made, you'll have a list of your tasks. Again, a summary of who are the assignees, if there are multiple steps, what's the due date, and if you ever need to make a change to any of the tasks, you can click the Edit button, make any changes, for example, enable and disable notification, edit descriptions, change the form, and so on. Also, if you need to do some checklist modifications, you can review some tasks if that's necessary. And you can also add brand new tasks and modify your onboarding if that's something that needs to be done. The second functionality of Onboard is the self-service portals. This is where I'll now switch my screen and show you the system from the employee's point of view. So now I'm logged in as the employee, Michael Smith, and I'm on my main portal page. This portal can be customized with a header and logo of your choice, and the employee will also land here when they first log in. So when they land here to see the welcoming message, they see their basic employment details. They can click View Profile to open up their full HR Cloud profile, and on the right side they have a task list, which will immediately list all of their onboarding tasks, and they can start completing their onboarding. This is also where I'll show you how the forms look once they're digitized. So in this example, I have page 1 of the I-9 assigned to me. I can click Open Form to open up the form, and now I can complete this form. The I-9 is created as what we call a background form. We upload the PDF copy of the paper version of the I-9, and then we add these electronically fillable fields so that the form can be completed through the system. There are different field types to choose from, like textual fields, numbers, different date fields, single selections, of course, electronic signatures, which can be either drawn with the mouse or a username can be used to sign them. You can add instructions on the fields. They can be drop-downs. All fields that are required to be completed by the employee will be marked by the red star here. And if the employee tries to complete the form without adding all the required information, they'll receive an error message, and they can click on each of these fields, and the app will help them by navigating them to that field and ask them to add information into it. Also, what we can do on Form, which is previously mentioned, is set up signing orders. You can notice that me as the employee, I have access to everything on Section 1 of the I-9, but if I scroll down to Section 2, I can't access any fields here or add any information because that's how the signing order was set up, so that I do Section 1 as the employee, and then the employer or an authorized representative will do Section 2. We also can create another type of forms, which we call a blank forms, and we have a direct deposit agreement here as an example for it. So we create this type of forms by adding electronically fillable fields on a blank page, which can include the body of text. Again, you have to access the same field types. You have your signatures, you have your date fields, you have your text fields, number field, single selection, and so on. On these forms again, you can set up which fields are required to complete, and if I try to save without completing the required fields, the app will draw an error message, and it will navigate me to what is the required field that I didn't complete. On this portal, I also have a manager widget which shows me who's my manager, and if I am a manager, I'll see my direct reports. Also, there is the company network widget here, which I can access and then navigate the company org chart. If you don't want employees to have access to this company network, that can be disabled. The rest of the information I see on the main portal page is information that's added by you. So you can add textual widgets here to show me text information. You can add photos here so that new hires can see photos of the location or their team members when they log in as an introduction. You can store video material on this portal, and new hires can always go in and hit play and watch the video. You can store both YouTube and Vimeo videos on portals like in Tasks. Then documents can be stored here, which the new hire can read or download from the portal page and hyperlink third-party websites or applications here as well, so that the new hire has access to those if necessary. All of these portals, the main portal and the custom portals as well, which I'll show you in just a second, can be accessed post-onboarding. So the employee just needs to log in. They can go in on their portal and simply have access to the information left here to them. We also have an SSO login for ADP, so they can use that login and they don't even have to have a separate set of credentials to access the information. So that's the main portal page, but you can also create custom portals. All custom portals are created as blank pages, and then they are assigned to employees based on certain criteria. You can create portals that will be assigned to employees from a specific location, from a department, based on their position title, based on employment type, based on who's the manager, and other criteria. And in this example, Michael has 2 additional custom portals he can access. One is the El Segundo portal that's assigned to employees on the El Segundo location, and one is a Human Resources portal assigned to employees from the Human Resources department. To switch portals, Michael simply has to click on the portal title, and then he has access to the information on those portals as well. All of these custom portals can have a different title, different header, different set of photos, documents, videos, and links sorted. If I need to switch to the Human Resources portal again, I just click on it, and then I have access to the information left there as well. So now I'll switch back to the admin view, and I'll show you the overview of the onboarding app. So in the People section of Onboard, you'll see the list of all new hires. You can see how many tasks total they have, the task progress, do they have anything overdue? From here you can also access each individual onboarding portal by simply clicking on this icon. You can inspect what they can see on their portal like I'm doing for Michael now. I can see his tasks, and from here I can also override the automation. So if Michael is an exception and maybe he doesn't have to do some of the tasks that were automatically assigned to him, I can delete the tasks, or I can add in additional tasks that are not part of a checklist. You can create a brand new task from scratch, or you can choose an existing task that's stored in one of your checklists and simply assign it from here. You can also assign multiple tasks as well. If you need to override automation in bulk in assigned tasks, you can click on multiple people and assign them tasks. Again, you can create brand new tasks or pull a task from one of the checklists and assign a task that already exists in the system. Onboard also has 2 reports pre-built. The first one is the Task Progress Report, which will list all of the tasks by the task name to whom the task is assigned, who is the employee that the task is related to, and what's the status of each task. From here, you can do a report about onboarding. So if you need quick information, for example, if you're just interested in the onboarding of employees from the sales department, you can simply type in sales and the app will filter out that information for you. If you need to do more thorough reports or pinpoint some information, you can first manipulate the columns so you can rearrange the columns that are shown on the grid and remove columns that you don't need at the moment. Add other columns if that's necessary. You can group the information based on the columns that you have added. You can also add multiple filters based on the columns you're using to pinpoint the information that you need. Once you make a change to your default view, you can then save this. Each new view will be part of your views list. Whenever you click on a view, the app will apply your grouping, filtering, and changes in columns that you save. Also, data on any grid can be exported. You simply need to select the data that you need and export it as a CSV, PDF, or Excel. The grid manipulation and form of creating views, changing columns, grouping, and filtering can be done on any grid in the app, so you can do it from the People grid as well. In this app, and you can do it in the People app, which we'll see later. The other pre-built report is the Checklist Progress Report, which will list all of your checklists, to whom the checklist is assigned, and the task progress for each individual and in each checklist that the system has assigned. All the information that you collected by onboarding a new hire will be routed into the People app and stored on a profile for each individual. You can also access the profiles from Onboard by simply clicking on the name of the individual, and their employee profile will open up. Here we have different sections for information storage. There is a job section where employment details and compensation details are stored, and there is a personal section for storing identification, demographics, and contact information. All the fields in these two sections, except some essential ones, can be completely removed. If you don't need to track that information, we can also add custom fields in any of these subsections on both personal and job if you need to track additional information. And also when we're setting up permissions, so who gets to see which information, we can do it for the individual field level. Meaning that, for example, if you want to hide salary information or the social security number or contact details for managers, you can hide it from them. But you as HR still have access to seeing all that information. Also, the employee profile can be part of self-service. So if you don't want to add all the information yourself, but you would like the employees to complete parts of the profile, things like adding their social security or their contact information, we can set up a task that will ask the employee to do so, and we also can define which fields here will be required for the employee to complete so that it can be part of the self-service. Here on this left side, there's also information storage. So the forms are all stored in the Forms section. From here, you can see all forms completed related to Howard. You can open up a form to inspect it. You can download the form as a PDF. If you need to download multiple forms, you can export them as PDF in bulk. Then there is a document section where you can create a document repository for the employees. All documents collected by assigning tasks will automatically be stored here. You can download them and re-edit them, delete them, and of course, open up the document to inspect it. You can also store documents in different folders to create your document repository. And if you need to add documents post-onboarding, you can simply upload them from your device. When you're uploading documents like this, you can set up a privacy level for those documents and define who gets to see them. You can have only administrators be able to see it. You can include other security laws such as HR user or HR operation, or you can allow everybody except the employee to see the document. Then there is a notes section where you can keep track of disciplinary actions against the employee or just some note-keeping in general. You can type in your note, you can add an attachment with the note, and you have access to see the same privacy options that you do for documents. In the Tasks section here, you'll see all tasks assigned to Howard, including onboarding and post-onboarding tasks. If you need to assign post-onboarding tasks, you can do it from here by clicking Get Task and either create a brand new task or assign a task that is stored in one of your checklists. You can do this bulk assignment of tasks. You can do this post-onboarding assignment of tasks in bulk as well, and all the job and personal information that you store in the profile can also be used to create reports about employees. So in the People section of the People app, you will see all profiles, and you can manipulate this grid just like you could in Onboard by adding anything that's stored on your job or personal sections of the profile. You can remove columns that you don't need. Here you'll have a list of all the data that you're storing on the employee, and then you can add it as necessary. You can group information based on the columns, filter out, and save this as a view. It will be added to your views list. If you want to do reports, you can also save this as a custom report. Before I go into the reports, one other thing that I mentioned you can do from here is assign post-onboarding tasks in bulk, and just like in the Onboard app, you just need to select the employees and go on Actions, Create Tasks, and then you can create a brand new task or access a task from your checklist and assign them in bulk. All of your reports are also consolidated here. In this overview section, you'll see a headcount report, a turnover summary, turnover per manager, separation reason, and also demographics report of your employees. And this is all automatically created by the app based on the data that you added into it about your employees. In this report section, you have all the reports that we saw consolidated based on the app that they came from. So for example, under Onboard, you have your task progress report here as well. You don't have to go in the Onboard app to have access to it, and custom reports are stored here. For example, we have a salary report which I can always inspect. I can export the data in CSV, PDF, or Excel, and here I can also make changes to a report if I'm working on it to see other information. I can add filtering and grouping as well. I can see who created the report, when, and of course delete the report as well if the report is not necessary anymore. Under Employees, you have some reports that are pre-built by the People app. Things like a position history, which will track changes in department, location, division, who's the manager, and position title historically, so it will show you the effective dates of each change. We also have a salary history that tracks the changes in salary historically for the employees. And you also have access to a snapshot report, which will allow you to go back and select any past date, and then the system will show you the information that was present on that date. Thank you for watching.